Hello everybody, dear friends, astrology lovers. Here is Olga with a weekly horoscope. We will talk today about the end of October and the beginning of November. I will just analyze the transits, planetary transits, and the aspects for the week from October 30 until November 5th. I will call the upcoming week, I will describe the upcoming week by the following sentence: balance between transformation and stability in exchanges of resources. Why? First of all, because on the 4th of November, we're expecting the full moon in Taurus on the axis Taurus-Scorpio. And you know that since the full moon is always technically an opposition sun-moon, the opposition always occurs on the axis of two opposite signs. And the axis Taurus-Scorpio is the axis of resources, mine own possessions, resources, and the possessions and resources of others. This is the symbolism of the sign of Scorpio, right? But I will talk about the new moon, the full moon, in a while, just very soon. I would like to start by something different. I would like to point out the particularity. I would like to touch the particularity of the month of November, because we are coming up to the end of October. What is the particularity of the month of November 2017? I would like to remind you that in the month of August 2017 there were two eclipses on the 7th and the 21st of August. 3 months have passed since, and now in the month of November there comes a time when the themes or the subjects of the eclipses of August overlap progressively with the subjects, the themes of the future eclipses that are for winter 2018, that we will live in January and February 2018. Why this moment is interesting and strategic? It is considered that the period of 1 year, 12 months, is marked by 4 points of power. That is, those short periods of time when significant events occur or life tendencies change, and these strategic points are first eclipses, which occur by pairs or in pairs with the interval of 2 weeks, twice per year. So every 6 months we live 2 eclipses, so the solar and the lunar, and sometimes they occur in the other order, the lunar and the solar. There are 2 weeks between the both eclipses that we call the quarter eclipses, and in 6 months later we live another couple of eclipses. So if you take the period of time 1 year, the 2 couples of eclipses mark those 2 strategic points, the moments of power, 2 from the 4 that I just mentioned before. What are the other 2? These are such phases of the lunar month, of the moon, such as the new moon and the full moon, but the new moon and the full moon that occur between the 2 couple of eclipses at equal distance from the both couple of eclipses. In other words, it is precisely the full moon of November that will receive this impact of the middle point, I could even say, that will revive the subjects of the eclipses of August, and at the same time it will give us a hint about the subjects of the upcoming eclipses of the beginning of the next year. That's why most likely in the coming month we will be brought to live more troubles and more complications in our affairs than usually. We can simply be in a depressed mood, for example. But for some of us, and maybe even for the majority of us, the month of November may be a turning point. It's because this is the month between between the 2 couples of eclipses. Okay, especially near the full moon of November 4th, and near the new moon of November 18th. But well, the new moon of the 18th of November will probably be the main cause of a possible turbulence. Well, I will get back to this a little bit later when I will talk about the full moon. We have a very important major transit. The main background aspect of the 2 weeks starting from now, from Monday, October 30th, starting from now until November 11th, which is the date of the exact aspect that I'm talking about. This aspect will be the trine of Saturn, which is already about to change the sign. It's in Sagittarius, but it will pass to Capricorn in 3 weeks approximately. The trine of Saturn and the revolutionary Uranus in Aries. This aspect was already formed in May of this year, and if we did not benefit from it, it's time to do it now. According to its properties, their properties, the planets, Saturn and Uranus, are the antagonists. Uranus makes us makes us live surprises without a hint of predictability, and Saturn is a conservative. It gives no chance to fantasy, but rewards with the patience, rewards with the stability our patience and perseverance in our attitude. Since the trine 120 degrees is an extremely beneficial aspect, we can expect that the planetary adversaries will find common ground because they symbolize opposite notions. Okay, they have very contradictory opposite symbolism. So we hope that they will find the common ground, common language, and they will bring us changes and renewal, Uranus. And but those changes that we can anticipate and control at the same time, which is the symbolism of Saturn. The aspect is active already from the beginning of the month of November, so we can already work on our changes, on the changes in our lives, but trying to change something that is familiar to us. Update, renewal, other words, are suitable words for the description of the context to modernize, to transform what already exists and what works well. This is the goal of the changes. This is the context of changes that can happen during the transit trine of transit Saturn and trine to Uranus. So to transform something that exists and works well. So, and we have time until November 20th to do all these, to bring changes in our lives, because the aspect will still be active and will give the desired effect until this date. But the exact aspect is the 11th of November. And first of all, of course, in the first place, the trine Saturn-Uranus will affect those of us who have planets and angular houses, ascendant, descendant, the 4th house and the 10th house, in the 26th degree of fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. Also, if you have an aspect between your natal Saturn and Uranus in your birth chart, you may also feel the impact of this transit aspect. But once again, I attract your attention to this detail. We are not talking about the completion, about the ending of something old, and about the beginning of something totally new. We talk about the restructuring of the existing situations, because it will be impossible to, let's say, get rid of the old base. Okay. In other words, I will formulate it in other words. During the next 2 weeks, we will have the opportunity to find unconventional solutions to problems, tasks, long-term projects, to transform the usual circumstances of our life, to break the rigid patterns and to break the restrictions, to overcome the restrictions that have caught our attention for for a couple of past months. Some situations that have lasted for a long time can end, nevertheless, in the most unusual way, opening up new opportunities. This can be related to career, educational projects, development of ideas and concepts, foreign countries, and connections abroad. Why? Because Saturn is in Sagittarius. Changes can be brought to all stable structures of our life in the spheres that corresponds to the house of the horoscope in your personal birth chart, where the transit Saturn is projected, which is logical. You always have to overlap the chart of the transit chart and the natal chart, your personal birth chart. Now, what are our full moon from October 30th to November 5? We will be going through a period when we will need to do, and we will be able to do everything that we have planned to do in October during the last new moon. We will be very active and we will be able to solve a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and we will manage to advance in achieving our objectives. This is the time, the couple of days, the 1 week before, the second week of the lunar month, the 1 week before the full moon, when it's necessary to deal with our personal issues, to take care of ourselves, to resolve problems of our love life, and to pay attention, first of all, to our own needs. So from November 3rd to the 6th is the time of the full moon on the axis of exchanges of resources, on the axis of the signs Taurus, Scorpio, right? Saturday, November 4th at 1:22 a.m. New York time in the 11th, almost 12th degree of Taurus, the full moon. The difference between this full moon, the margin, and the lunar eclipse of August 7th is exactly 90 degrees, because I remind you that the lunar eclipse of the 7th of August occurred on the axis Leo-Aquarius. The moon was in Aquarius, the sun was in Leo. So Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. In 3 signs, we are the planets form the square, right? So the full moon of the 5th of November forms a square with the lunar eclipse of the 7th of August, which means that we can expect the aggravation of the subject or the subjects in plural that we launched during the lunar eclipse of the 7th of August, and the subject that eclipses have activated. Now, 3 months after the eclipses of August, we can have a clear or more clear vision of these issues, problems, subjects, and themes, and which can be manifested, reappear in certain circumstances of our life. The reactivation of the subjects of the eclipses of August. This is very interesting. Well, in any case, during the entire week, and especially in the second half, we will be brought to solve problems posed by the full moon. The questions of finances, the correlation between my possessions, the possessions of others, between taking and giving, the choice between stability and transformation. The situations of our life that were related for the past 2 weeks and are so related to the topics listed just above will get closer to their culminating point and resolution. What we started at the new moon will reach its apogee at the full moon. And as during any full moon, which is the opposition sun-moon, in some cases, these changes, these resolutions and resolutions, let's say, let's keep this word, can occur by separations, divisions, splits, extreme choices, because this is the problem of each full moon, when we are between two minds, when we are behaving in a contrastive ways, everything or nothing, black or white. In other cases, more constructive cases, we can achieve our goals by using the opposition full sun moon to maximize opportunities. So it's not always easy to act, during the full moon in a constructive way. But we have to avoid to go into the extremes in our attitude, in our behavior. In any case, we will observe the time of significant changes, and we will make crucial, decisive decisions, major decisions regarding our financial situation. All this will also concern the process of exchange of resources with other people, and the changes will concern cooperation with others at the level of big life values. So for November 3rd, 4th, and 5th, the days around the full moon, so these days are activated by the full moon, suit ideally to all kinds of activities. We have to act, not just to sit and to think and to put our plans, the list of things to achieve on paper. We have to act. These days suit to the clarification of the differences of opinions in relationships with others, to the formulation of precise and clear arrangements with the clear and precise and clear conditions for all. Conditions that should be clear for everybody. This day we must observe, we must pay attention to what is happening in our lives. We have to observe the events, that we are part of. We have to be more open to what is, happening with us. And we could expect, of course, a mood which will be not very stable, maybe high blood pressure during this lunar phase, so during the full moon plus minus 1 day, so that we may also notice that the situation unfolds according to the scenario that the eclipses of August had formed. The very point of the full moon, the sun, which is in Scorpio now, forming the position to the moon in Taurus, is still in the orb of this conjunction with Jupiter. So which is it's a gorgeous aspect, conjunction with Jupiter. I spoke about that on the last week. So on one hand, on the other hand, another background aspect for the full moon is actually not only one single aspect, but a configuration of planetary aspects. Throughout the week, during the entire week, the planet of values, partnership and resources, Venus, will tie the axis of the lunar nodes, Saturn and Uranus, in the configuration that is called the KITE. I remind you. October 31st, Venus in sextile with the North Lunar Node. November 3rd, Venus in sextile to Saturn. November 4th, Venus in opposition to Uranus. And of course, Uranus and Saturn are in trine. Form trine. Saturn and the node form a trine, and Uranus and the node form a trine. So there's a big trine, Saturn, Uranus, the node, South Lunar Node, and on this side of the big trine, Venus is on the top of the bisextile. As one sextile Venus, Saturn, sextile Venus, the node. So this is the configuration that is called the KITE, and it's extremely favorable. It creates opportunities to clarify issues in personal relationships, to make thoughtful changes, to provoke predictable turns in the scenario of our life. It looks like this full moon will bring us great opportunities to change a lot in our relationships with other people, to realize our professional projects, and as the results, by the end of the week, our social ties, business partnerships, and financial affairs will receive a powerful boost to renewal and development, but this will happen most probably through unusual situations and abrupt changes, because Venus is in opposition to Uranus. We have to keep this in mind. Venus is in opposition to Uranus on the day of the full moon on November 4th. Another background aspect of the full moon is this trine, the Sun in Scorpio in trine to Neptune in Pisces on November 3rd. This aspect activates subtle perception of the mental process of other people, we will be receptive, we will catch easily the mental states and the mood of other people. They can be also, during this transit, the emergence of new romantic attachments, sympathies, and also the transit can give birth to an ideal love. In all cases, the aspect stimulates the imagination, activates the immersion in our own thoughts, in our inner world. It also, the trine Sun Neptune awakens spirituality. And this is for this reason that the transit is favorable, of course, for people who belong to creative professions. Nevertheless, since we talk about the period of the full moon on the axis Taurus Scorpio, the axis of resources, how will the aspect, the trine Sun Neptune, what kind of impact it can have on our business, finances, and work? It's not extremely positive because there is a risk of being too idealistic in business, and it will be very easy for others to deceive us. So, I mean, if we listen to our intuition and if we notice that the signs, hint signs from outside, we will be able to avoid major problems. In any case, nevertheless, the day is suitable, mostly suitable for charity, business travels, but those which will be combined with the, let's say, discovery of spiritual values. Okay, not just purely professional goals. So if we summarize the week, the most favorable day of the week is Monday. But even in Monday, only the first half of the day. It's necessary to, if we want to plan something important, if we want to be able to count on understanding, on success, and on the future development of our projects, we have to fix the most important appointments for the first half of Monday. Tuesday, we run the risks of encountering obstacles, limiting circumstances, or we'll have to focus on a very difficult, tough work and on extremely complex tasks. Also, there may be some problems with the well-being, and health on Tuesday. Wednesday is an ideal day, appropriate day for projects that need to be resolved and done quickly. Some urgent and critical moments will require our attention and participation, and very quick, rapid attention and participation. The likelihood of emergencies, conflicts, trauma increases on Wednesday. In addition to that, we will be inclined to make impulsive decisions, which will worsen the situation. Wednesday requires a maximum of precautions. We have to avoid all sharp corners in the figurative and with all sense of words in our relationships. We have to avoid conflicts and confrontations. On Thursday, we are getting closer to the full moon. We are getting closer. Unexpected changes in our relationships with others and in changes in social ties are possible on Thursday. There are two options for the development of the scenarios. Unexpected opportunities are emerging, so it's very constructive. Solutions to the problems that we are concerned about lately, are found. So we have to be open to the new, to changes. Without fear, we have to give up to worn out ties and situations. Or there's another possibility. Previously drawn projects, already established rules, and existing stability, all these can suddenly collapse if we refuse to to let the changes enter our lives. But in the both cases, for the both options, if we talk about the both options, any attempt to keep something in the old format will not be successful. So the last 3 days of the week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, this is the time of the concentrated impact of the full moon in Taurus. The focus, I repeat myself a little bit, the focus will be on, for us, on the issues of resources, finances, our own values and assets, on life, on a bigger scale, life values. In the context of relationship with other people, the focus will be also on processes of exchange of resources and values with other people. It's a good time to clarify the important situations that are important to us in one of the spheres that I mentioned, okay? I mean values, finances, assets, resources. In order to look for the ways to solve problems, if the problems exist, we have to focus our attention on all these subjects. And the full moon will help us in finding the solutions. And it's also a good time to reveal our talents and abilities, because remember that the background, one of the background aspects of the full moon is the trine, Sun in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces. At the same time, great caution is needed in high-risk financial decisions. In everything related to investment, we have to wait for the full moon to pass before to take important decisions about investments. And it's very important also not to overestimate our abilities and promises of others, to avoid conflicts of ownership, to avoid claims against the possessions of others, and we have to avoid our own unnecessary sacrifice. Okay, so the week will be extremely intense. The full moon, the middle point between the two eclipses, the eclipses of August 2017 and the upcoming eclipses of January, February 2018. Think about what you focused on in August. This subject will come back in your life. You will see. You will be surprised. Or maybe you will not be surprised because now you know about that. So I wish you a wonderful, awesome week. Be wise. Take care of yourself. I wish you marvelous full moon. And yes, I don't want to say once again be wise, but yeah, this is the biggest advice that I would like to give. So good luck to you. Thank you for your time, and I talk to you very soon in 1 week. Goodbye.